got my guitar. I got my beginner guitar skills. And I'm going to be playing a beginner guitar song. Fuck, I completely... Yeah, I would play Hot for Teacher, but I don't know it, so... Anyways, in the last True Stories animation video that I did, this certain video right here caught my eye. My teacher and I are dating. Seems pretty fucking cool to me. I think you can find it, like, over in that that direction, over there. Here. Grab this. Right up there. You can find the video where I mentioned it right up there. Anyways, let me go back to my normal spot. So yeah, this video caught my eye. And, well, we're going to be reacting to it. I got a fat one coming out. Not a fat shit, I mean like a fart.
I was in high school when Mrs. Sundell became our new history teacher. There were rumors that she'd been kicked out of her old school for rupturing the eardrum of one of her students. Apparently, that student was deaf, and she blew an air horn right next into his ear to prove that it wouldn't affect him. But of course, it did affect him. His eardrum ruptured, and he had to be taken to the hospital because blood started running out of his ear. So everyone knew Mrs. Sundell was a bit crazy. And one time, while talking about the Holocaust, she suddenly burst into tears.
Is she Jewish or something? Is she Jewish?
I wondered if it was because she was Jewish and had lost part of her family to the Nazis. But then she explained that her husband had dumped her the day before for a younger woman. To be frank, I thought it was tasteless of her to tell us students about her private life while discussing an event as...
He had me there. I was gonna say, why is it fucking tasteless for your teacher to share about their personal life? I loved when the teacher would share about their personal life. One, it was interesting because I like getting to know people. Two, we didn't have to learn. They would just talk about themselves and it would just distract them from the lesson. So yes! It's cool. Anyways.
As tragic as the Holocaust.
Yeah.
But I knew she had mental issues.
What?
So the next day after class, when all other students had left the classroom, I gave her flowers and said, "I'm sorry you were going through a divorce, Mrs. Sundell."
And then she looked at him in the eyes, grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, leaned in, excuse me, and planted a huge smooch. And then they just started. I can't say the rest.
But I believe in you. Now, let me preface that I was 18 years old at the time, and nothing that happens in this story is illegal.
Okay,
of course, Mrs. Sundell was an attractive woman, but I never planned on becoming her lover.
Oh, thank you for the flowers. You are such a gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. And enjoy your weekend.
Wait. I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you free this Saturday?
Free for what?
Oh,
just a classic Boink feast, you know. A Boink feast, you know. A classic, yeah. It's not showing up, but it says classic Boink feast.
I'm gonna cook some pasta, and I haven't been on a first date in years.
How old are you,
so
fucking lady?
Why don't you come over?
Of course, I accepted the offer. Mrs. Sundell was gorgeous after all,
Oh,
but in
yeah, so
hindsight,
gorgeous,
I
so
realized that
gorgeous
Mrs.
with her
Sundell was
anime
also
eyes.
mentally unstable, and that maybe I was taking advantage of her recent breakup.
You're not
I mean,
taking
the first time
advantage of it, bro. Oh my god. What the hell is going on with her ear? Doesn't know what ears look like. You need to share my story. If you ever watch this video, you need to work on your ears. You thought I was going to say something about her ass, didn't you? Didn't you? She's a fat fucking ass. She's got a dumpy.
First time I visited her home,
Jesus.
she immediately introduced me to her 8-year-old daughter and said, "Hey, look who your mom is dating now. He's one of my students and super
This is
cute.
your new daddy."
Much cuter than your useless dad." Mrs. Sundell's daughter
Dude,
looked
he's
disturbed.
18.
She was extremely underweight, had dark circles
looks
under her
like
eyes,
Newt
and avoided
from
eye
Aliens.
contact. Meanwhile, Mrs. Sundell pulled me on
Oh
the
my
couch
God,
and
this
started
is-
making out with me. It felt super awkward because her daughter sat less than a meter away from us, but she knew what to do and left the room so we could be alone. Then at dinner, Mrs. Sundell told me about her.
Goddamn, that is one fat ass. It's about the size of 2 basketballs. She's got 2 basketballs. She's got a basketball-sized ass. Holy shit. Anyways, what was I gonna say? What I was gonna say was, okay, wait. You said come over for pasta. There's pasta. What the fuck is that? You're eating a steak, bro. Whatever. This is just
About her husband.
He is crazy. One time my phone battery died and he couldn't reach me for 3 hours.
Okay.
So he called the police and told them I was missing.
reasonable.
Also, he's been stalking me ever since we...
I mean, if you're not responding for 3 hours and you just go off the grid like that, like if I were in a relationship, which I am, and she was gone for 3 hours without saying a word, then I'd get worried. But then again, I'm just an overthinking douchebag, so.
Since we broke up.
Okay.
Stalking you?
Stalking you? For some reason, the ads always fuck this up. 'Cause now
Yeah,
it's all
he
laggy.
always
Oh, no,
parks
it's
somewhere near my house and watches where I go and who visits me.
not. Yeah.
So he might have seen me come into your house today?
He probably did. And I warn you, he is violent.
I don't think you should worry about your violent husband. I think you should worry about sleeping with a high schooler, bro. And going, I know you're not doing anything, but you're going on a date and you're making out with a high schooler. I know he's legal of age. That still doesn't make it any less weirder. I'd fuck her. What?
Violent.
She said that with a big smirk on her face, as if she wanted her husband to find out about me and beat
No, she's
me up.
probably into that.
I asked, "Has your husband ever been violent?"
Of course. Just recently, he locked me into the trunk of his car for a whole weekend. Just because I told him that I was cheating on him with our neighbor.
I hate doing these fucking videos. Just kidding, I love them. You know, I take all the stuff I said about her having a fat ass, which she does, but I take all of it back. Fuck this woman. And not in a good way. Like, get her away from me.
Oh God, what had I gotten myself into? I looked over to
You
Mrs.
guys.
Sundell's daughter and asked, "Do you like your dad?"
No, I hate him, and he's only my stepdad.
And has he ever treated you badly in any way?
What are you doing,
She
stepmom?
looked away. She was too ashamed to answer the question. Okay, listen, Mrs. Sundell. If your husband is violent, you have to protect your daughter from him.
Well, that's why you are here, to protect us.
It suddenly dawned on.
Don't you guys live in America? This looks like America. You can, exercise your Second Amendment rights. I was going to say First Amendment, but it's not the First Amendment. You can... Is it? I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I know it's one of them, but I don't know which one. I'm pretty sure it's the Second Amendment, but like, exercise your Second Amendment rights. How are you going to expect this wimpy 18-year-old to take care of it? I know he's taller than her, but like, tallness doesn't really affect that. Especially if it's a grown man. Especially since you're still developing.
Dawned on me that Mrs. Sundell had the emotional maturity of a child.
Oh my
She wouldn't
God,
take responsibility
aliens.
for anything, not even her own daughter's
That is-
safety. So, after dinner, I wrote down my number on a piece of paper and gave it to Mrs. Sundell's daughter.
I wonder
Call
if-
me if you are ever in danger.
Okay.
Then I told Mrs. Sundell I couldn't solve her relationship problems.
Okay, for some reason, this man looks like the haircut reminds me of Ripley, and then the daughter reminds me of Newt from Aliens. If this is going to be like Aliens, then I'm going to be all over it. I still am all over it, because, like, hot teacher. She's crazy, though, so, like, no.
Problems, and that we would not meet up again until she had successfully divorced her husband.
Or
I
maybe
thought that
just,
was the end of the story. But a week
don't.
later, she came into school with a black eye. She said that someone had shot a football in her face, but I didn't believe
Okay,
it
this is
and
like
suspected
England
that
or
her
something.
husband had hit her. After class, I asked her, "Did your husband do this to you?"
What do you care? You said you want nothing to do with me.
Until
Oh God,
I
she was
divorced
so
your
immature.
husband.
I should have stayed away from her as far as I could, but I wanted to make sure her daughter was...
That... It's... You should have stayed away, because that is fucking weird. To date your teacher.
safe from her stepdad, so I told her I would spend the night at her place to protect them. I was sleeping in her bed when in the middle of the night, someone
Just
knocked
buy
on
a
the
Ford.
front
Oh my
door.
God, it's Johnny
Oh no,
Sins.
it's my husband. If he finds out you are here, he will kill you for sure.
Dude, he's
I
jacked.
was afraid, but also determined. I picked up a lamp, followed Mrs.
Get
Sundell
a-
to the...
Do you not... They said football, so this is probably not America, but... Get a fucking gun. Call the police. I don't know.
entry door
This
and
man's not gonna
said,
do anything
"Don't
about it."
let him inside.
Yeah.
And if he tries to hurt you, I will knock him out with a lamp, okay?"
Yeah, that's a great plan.
But Mrs. Sundell opened the door, and her husband's first question was, "Why do you have a black eye? Did someone hurt you?"
Oh, don't you remember? You got drunk and hit me.
"What are you talking about?
Oh
I've been
my God.
sober for 6 months. And anyway, why did you send me an SMS 20 minutes ago telling me to immediately come over?"
What? I didn't send you a message. And you can't come into my house right now because I have a...
This just got juicier than a steak at Sizzler. Good God, this is horrible.
Have a visitor.
This is some...
Oh my God. Did Mrs. Sundell just tell her husband that
gonna
I
say
was
Johnny
here?
Depp
Did
and
she want
Amber
him
Heard
to
shit,
kill
but
me?
no, it's not.
What? You brought another man into my house? You are cheating on me?
We are getting divorced. Have you already forgotten?
Mrs. Sundell's husband pushed her to the side and
Okay.
stepped into the house. I wasn't sure if I should use the moment of surprise
No.
and knock him out with my lamp, or instead try to talk to him
You're-
and explain myself.
Just explain
But
yourself.
I had no time to think, so when his bald head came through the
Bald
door,
head.
I swung the lamp right at him.
you
However,
catch it?
this guy was jacked and just blocked my swing with his arm.
This man.
He grabbed me by the throat and pushed me with all his strength
This
against the
man
wall.
is a
He was much
Chad.
stronger than me, but as a last resort, I kicked him in the nuts, which actually brought him to his
Okay, I changed my mind. He's not a Chad. But what he did when he caught the Like he caught the
knees. Then I told Mrs. Sundell to immediately call the police.
I can't do that. He is still my husband, and I love him.
Okay, this woman was crazy. I went home and thought about what just happened. It seemed that Mrs. Sundell had only started a romance with me to get back at her husband and to make him jealous.
For what?
So the next day in school, I went to her and wiped my finger over her black eye. It's only makeup. You made it all up.
I had to. Without the black eye, you would have never come back to protect me from my husband.
Dude, your
Mrs.
husband did
Sundell
nothing
was
wrong.
lying through her teeth, like she always
Well,
did.
he did,
The
but,
only
like-
reason I came back to visit her at her home was to check up on her daughter and make sure she was okay. We were eating dinner when I asked, "Where is your daughter, by the way?"
Oh, shoot. I forgot to pick her up from school again. Can you do it for me?
It was 8 p.m. when I arrived at her school. The teacher had
Is this
waited
the
3
same
hours.
woman that's the mom of the one ugly girl?
For
The
Mrs.
last one?
Sundell's daughter to be picked up and was really mad. But I felt even worse
They
for
use
the
a
girl.
lot of the,
I knew she felt like
same-
no one cared about her. I took her to McDonald's for dinner, where she told me that her mom often locked her into her room for days, so her mom could sleep with other men without being disturbed. And I had seen
No. Don't show me the McDonald's because we're gonna get fucking demonetized. We're not monetized anyway, but whatever.
her room. It only had a dirty mattress on the floor and not a single toy to play with. Have you ever been to a playground or watched a movie in a cinema?
No, my mom only allows me to leave my room to eat, watch TV, and go to school.
This
Did she
girl
watch
had been
Breaking Bad?
seriously neglected. I brought her back home,
That is a bad
but
joke, I'm
I could see
sorry.
Mrs. Sundell's husband through the window.
Kill.
I can protect you there inside, but I promise we will do something fun this weekend.
Dude.
Because you are a great girl. Don't ever
Dude,
let your mom make you
please.
think otherwise.
Adopt this.
Can you marry my mom and become my dad?
I told her that wasn't possible. However, for the next 7 years, I've picked her up every weekend to do something fun, like taking her to the playground or just asking her how she was doing. Mrs. Sundell's husband, of course, hated that I was taking care of his stepdaughter. He even almost caught me once in front of their house. I was barely able to
God.
escape. The reason he couldn't completely forbid me from seeing his stepdaughter was that I had once threatened to contact the police and Child Protective Services on him. Anyway, I still visit his wife sometimes when he is on business trips. So I'm not completely innocent in this story either.
I mean, you're still helping her
Meanwhile,
out,
the
though.
little girl is a teenager now, and she is doing okay.
That's so
She has been
good.
diagnosed with ADHD and is failing most of her classes. Probably because her mom neglected her so badly.
She's ADHD, I
However,
can relate to
I've
that.
helped her find a therapist so she can work through her childhood trauma.
Good.
And I hope she will live a normal life when she moves out of her mom's home.
You know what? I like that. That has probably been the best story I've seen. It may not seem like it, but it has. I really like that story. I mean, the guy did the right thing, even though he cheated, or he endorsed cheating on her husband, which she was already doing. But, like, he still saw her to see the girl and let her have a normal life. So, good on you, man. Good on you. You got my respect, bro. Usually you can't respect the people in these stories, but I can respect this guy a ton. Then he also kind of slept with his teacher, so, like, I don't know. I still respect him. I'm just gonna doze over the fact that his or that he slept with the teacher. But good story. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Merry Christmas if I don't make another one, which I probably won't because I'm very inconsistent. But anyways, have a good one, y'all. I'll see ya. Peace.